What is up, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Third and Very Long. I'm your host, Rich Crinigan, and to kick off this second episode of podcast today, I want to announce a special announcement that I now have a co-host on the show. He's joined with me here today. I'm going to let him introduce himself right now.
Hey guys, my name's Tyler Velosin. I'm happy to be a part of this thing, Third and Very Long. Awesome podcast, and I'm happy to be a part of it. And we're talking about the New York Football Jets. So let's get it. Football's back this week. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. I've seen a lot of our draft picks doing good. A lot of them, some
I'm not
not,
practicing, but you know what? Most Becton seems to be holding
a
up.
lot of memes.
A lot of Jets
memes.
memes, which is usually that sometimes can be good
Yeah,
because
I don't know. The last really popular meme we had was the
True.
butt fumble.
Yeah, true. That's different. But this time it's a better meme because it's the
Big Brother, the Big
it's
Brother one.
The Big Brother. Also, the Big Green Wall. Alex Lewis called Becton the Big Green Wall. So that's something that is a positive meme in that sense. But I'm very excited to see what this draft class can actually do on the field because they've been hungry and they've been fighting for their spots in camp and stuff. And I think they're ready to go.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what Ashton Davis develops. And I feel like he's just a really raw athlete. You see him doing flips and stuff like he's in the Ringling Brothers circus. Like he's just an athlete on the field.
He's an unbelievable athlete. He's one of those guys that came from a track background and is just an overall outstanding athlete. And that's the type of player Greg Williams. And you see it in practice. You see it in camp throughout the week. Like everyone's like, "Oh my God, this guy's explosive. This guy can make a play. This and that." That's the type of guy you want on your football field. And like when it comes to like nickel and dime packages, I know Brian Poole's our nickel corner, but like a dime package, Ashton Davis could be coming like a bat out of hell off the edge.
Yeah.
You know?
I can see him being like using a lot of nickel blitzes. Another thing I can see him being used a lot, like he comes from like a safety background at Cal. Like they play a lot of good competition. He has really good instincts. You have to have those. Yeah, safety.
And he's a big, like one of those like center field ball types guys where he'll like fly sideline to sideline, and you could put him in the middle of the field and he's gonna get to the ball because of his pure athleticism. And what makes it great is like that's Greg Williams type of guy, you know.
Exactly. I feel like him and Greg Williams will have a great time together.
Him and Greg Williams have a great time together, and that's what you need. You know, you draft for what you have in front. That Joe Douglas knew, like Becton, a big offensive lineman, a big tackle, is exactly what Adam Gase wanted for Sam Darnold and what the Jets really needed. So, you know, they really went out and saw like found players that were specific for our needs.
And then they went out and got a receiver in the second round, Denzel Mims, who was an outstanding route runner at Baylor.
Outstanding route runner, catch the ball in the end zone, pretty much was one of the best in all of college football last year at catching the ball in the end zone. So Joe D went out to the draft and hit our immediate need, and that's the best thing you could do. I mean, he even got I like your boy out of Florida, Perrine. I love
Michael Perrine.
I love him. He's a great, and you saw like he's one of those guys who can catch the ball very well, but then he can run downhill also. So like he's a super hybrid player, and that's what kind of Adam Gase wants. And like what Adam Gase wants from that running back room is for all of his guys to be able to do those type of things. I think when you look at Bell is obviously arguably one of the best receiving running backs in all football. He can also run downhill. He's got Frank Gore who can run downhill like a beast at 40 years old. Like that's what he wants. Frank Gore can catch the ball out of the backfield. Don't forget that.
Yeah, he jumped in the fountain of youth, and he's still swimming in it.
Yeah,
it's in his backyard.
He's swimming, and he's swimming. He's doing a marathon.
For those of you at home listening that wanted to know what a fountain of youth was, it's in Frank Gore's backyard. It's actually a swimming pool.
It's a swimming pool. He sits in it all day, and then goes to practice, comes back, sits in it because that guy's something else.
It's heated.
It's heated. It's heated. But back to these guys, like Gore, Perrine fits in there.
Yeah.
And that's the running back room is starting to really come together. And what people have been saying about the running back room, because everyone wants to hate on Le'Veon. Yeah, he didn't do well last year. He manned up to that. He said it. And he said that he's working harder. He's in the best shape of his life. He wants to work to get better. And you know what? People keep talking about this Adam Gase Le'Veon
drama,
Bell, the drama, the beef, and like I guess Le'Veon went to Twitter, said something about his hamstrings, and he was like, "All right." Him and Adam Gase talked about it the next day. He came on the podium the other day. I think, yeah, it was the other day. And he was like, "I don't know where you guys get this narrative from." Like, he seriously called out the press because he's like, "I don't know where you guys get this narrative from.
Welcome to New York.
Me and my coach are fine. Leave us alone. Let us play football." And you know what? That's like coming from a player, from all the people have been hating on Bell, hating on Gase, like for them to come together, see that hate come together and be like, let's build something and let's run with it, is really good in the Jets' eyes, because it's anything you hear about Adam Gase or Le'Veon Bell is usually negative because people are just those big of haters.
Yeah, and he's gonna surely love running to the left side all year with the big wall who can run a 40-yard time.
I'm sorry, Kelvin Beachum was not moving anybody like Becton's going to move. Because remember, we talk about Becton being this left tackle. Hopefully he'll protect Sam. Hopefully. No, at the end of the day, Becton's a mauler and he runs the ball. I mean, the ball is meant to be run behind him because he's going
because he runs people over.
He runs people over and he's going to make holes for these guys. And that is what Le'Veon Bell wants. A guy that he can stay behind, be patient, and just let Becton make the hole.
Yeah.
There's no other way for Becton to go but downhill and running people over. And that's what Le'Veon Bell loves.
I feel like a lot of people are underestimating the other weapons too that the Jets have that are like low-key weapons, like not really talked about, like Perryman. He's a slip receiver who could blow the top off. We saw what he can do in a short amount of time, but like in the last remaining weeks when he was on Tampa last year. He had like 600 yards and like 6 touchdowns or something like that.
He was super explosive. And it's the type of thing where like you look at it, and I look at it as an upgrade over Robbie. I know Brashard's not really like proven. Like Robbie had multiple years. Robbie's been like pretty decent over the years. Herman only kind of had this 1 year. But at the end of the day, like I think they have a similar game. And I think Perriman's a little faster and a little bit more durable.
He ran the fastest 40-yard time in his draft.
Yeah, so
that's why he landed a spot so early with the Ravens in the first round.
Of course, yeah, and even even when he was getting drafted, I was like, that guy's crazy. He just never really found his thing. So I think Sam is gonna love him. I think he's one of those type of guys where he just head down. I'm gonna run, blow this corner off the top. Sam, just throw it up. I got you.
Yeah.
And that's that's just the type of way guy he is. And that's like you were saying, the super low key thing about that is perfect because no one's really talking about Brashad Perriman, but people will start.
Exactly. Yeah, I think he might. I'm not going to say 1,000. I want to say like 700, 800, maybe, depending on how much love Jamison Crowder gets again this year.
I think the thing about Jamison Crowder is that he's going to get his 90 reception. Like, that's what he's going to do. I think the thing is you're going to see a lot more big plays from Sam Darnold. Because, I mean, realistically, Sam Darnold's not that, I'm going to throw the ball over the top type of guy. Like, when have you ever seen, like, Robbie Anderson? There's a handful of plays of Robbie Anderson going over the top and Sam Darnold hitting him over.
Well, there were also times where he did go over the top and he saw ghosts. We don't want to really push our luck there.
I know.
Let's see how the start goes. Who do we play week 1 again?
Buffalo, man.
It happens every year, I think. Like last year
we do play Buffalo every year. But
yeah, I mean like first, I think. I don't know how that works.
We play Buffalo literally probably first almost every year. But I like it. Division opponent right out the gate, and it really gives us something. But that leads us into the 53-man roster. And so, what were your initial thoughts on the 53?
I thought that Chris Hogan was going to start over Denzelman,
which he did.
He is.
He is officially. They put that out that he was starting over. Mims. The thing about Mims hasn't really got his. Still trying to get his feet underneath him.
Yeah, he was having hamstring issue. Yeah, and
that's something you just don't mess with.
Especially if you're a young receiver who is about to get the crap knocked out of him for like 10 years in the NFL.
Listen, he's got to go against Tre'Davious White this weekend, so
yeah.
But I you know what? I'm okay with the Jets taking caution. I'm okay with them taking caution on someone like because that's a guy that in the future you have to, his hamstrings better be right, and this better not be a hiccup for the future for a kid like him. So I mean, but the 53-man roster, I was pretty happy about it. Was there any surprises? Thought?
Oh, Jonathan Harrison cut.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, even Joe Douglas came out and said that was the hardest conversation I had to make, and that shows it. I mean, Jonathan Harrison was a huge part of the New York Jets organization over the past couple of years. He won the Walter Payton Man of the Year last year, so he's an all around awesome guy. But at the end of the day, you know, he's a Maccagnan guy, and Joe Douglas drafted Cameron Clark in the later rounds for that role. That's what he thinks. He thinks that Cameron Clark can go into that role.
Another cut too that I was kind of surprised on because we traded for him was Nate Hairston.
Well, the thing is, Nate Hairston did get cut, but it looks like they are bringing him back. So Nate Hairston actually was making, they're bringing him back because the Jets actually they did all their cuts, and then obviously you have that period where you have to put people on the PUP and the injury list and stuff like that. So they put like Vincent Smith, Jeff Smith, like Patrick Peanut on it. So that opened up roster spots. So now they started bringing people back. And Nate Hairston was actually one of those people that they are bringing back. Nate Hairston, both of these guys made over $2 million. So for Joe Douglas, they're not $2 million players. They're veteran minimum, like backup players. Like for $2 million, he can get 2 Jonathan Harrison. You know? So I understand why Joe did it. It's also not his guy. He didn't draft it. It's time for his realm to take over. So, I mean, and Joe honestly didn't even shut the door on Jonathan Harris coming back. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's somewhere in the mix.
Someone goes down in the season.
He's in the mix, yeah. He's definitely one of those guys that's in the mix. Just like, but I was talking about Peanut being on the injured reserve, the linebacker from the Ravens, Patrick Onosowar.
Yes.
I'm sorry if I messed up your name, but what that led to is that our middle linebackers are Neville Hewitt and Avery Williams. They named that those 2 guys are the starters for the middle linebacker position.
Is Blake Cashman?
No, he made the roster, but he's not the start. They named Neville Hewitt and Avery Williamson the starters. So I'll go through the defensive starters. They did Quinnen.
I see one you have here that I want to dive into when you get there.
Yeah, we'll dive into it. But it was Quinnen, Steve McClendon, and Nathan Shepard on the defensive line.
Is Henry Anderson?
Henry Anderson was in the mix, but they did not name him like the starter.
Wow.
And then on the 2 inside I mentioned were Neville Hewitt and Avery Williamson. And then the outside they did Jordan Jenkins and Terrell Bashamak. So those were our edge guys.
That's interesting.
And then Desir and Bless got the nod at the 2 starting corners. Brian Poole obviously is our nickel corner. And then they gave Marcus May and Bradley McNeil. But I think the guy that you really want to talk about is Bless.
Yeah, I like Bless getting one of the starting roles. I think we got him as an undrafted free agent out of Rutgers last year.
We actually got him in the 6th round.
Oh, 6th round?
Yeah, we got him in the 6th round last year. Yeah, Bless was out of the 6th round. Oh no, 2 years. 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Correct. I'm bad.
He was 2 years ago. He was a 6th round pick. He tore his ACL and he just got back. He's one of those type of guys that literally is earning his position. You know?
Yeah.
He's been nothing but work his way up and produce and stay at that production. Remember, corner, like no matter corner in the NFL, no matter where you look at it, at some point you're probably gonna get burned. You're probably gonna let someone go by, but it's about how you stay after that or how you produce during those hard times. So for him to face adversity throughout all last year, I mean, he was our number 1 last year. Think about it. Like he played well. Greg Williams liked him. And now he earned a spot in camp. That's the type of guy you want starting at corner for.
He's probably one of the most exciting players. Like I'm excited to see. I can't even grab my sentence there. Yeah.
No, you're excited.
He has me flustered. Wow, Bless, you really have. You really
you got everyone flustered. And he's a Rutgers boy, so he hits home a little bit. I remember even seeing him play at Rutgers. Like it was cool, but I think him and Pierre, which I'm hoping, like Pierre seems to be healthy and everything. And I read an article about how like Pierre is really like he's ready to go and he's ready to just be dominant. So I think that's like a huge thing for the Jets corners because I mean when was the last time the Jets had a good corner besides Revis? You know what I mean?
Cromartie.
Well, Cromartie was with his 30 kids.
He was also with Revis.
He was Revis, but like after that, you're not telling me Tremaine Johnson. I bless Austin is more talented than Tremaine Johnson.
Yeah, I mean we had D Miller.
Stop. That's not.
But he turned out really good.
You thought when D Miller came in, you thought Alabama. You can't mess this up, right? And he messed it up, D Miller. That sucked. But that's a McCagnon thing. It's an old. That's
out with the old, in with the new,
and the offensive line. I'll go over the starters for the offensive line. They did Becton, Lewis, McGovern, Van Rotten, and then George Fant. So I really liked it.
Who's starting at left tackle?
Becton, yeah.
Oh wow, he won it that quick over Fant.
Yeah, well, he's been there pretty much all camp. Yeah.
But I thought they said like when he got drafted that.
Yeah. When they drafted him, they said they were gonna move.
And then they were like shaking their head no, and they're like, yeah, he has a chance.
They saw them next to each other, and immediately was like, as a left tackle. The bigger guy by 100 pounds, yeah, he'll go to left tackle. But I really like this 50-man roster. I mean, it sucks that we did have to get rid of some guys, some old guys, but it's all about the now. A little more cleaning up to do with the non-reserve football injury. Bryce Hall, kind of on that list. He's trying to figure out that injury from college. So
yeah.
I don't know if we're gonna see him this year. That might be tough. But we did just release Josh Bellamy, so that could be some more cat money towards us. I mean, that's just another guy. Josh Bellamy is just like Quincy and guys who just like we gave money, just linger and linger and linger.
He just slept in every day.
Yeah, linger and linger. So I mean, he was cut. So we'll see what they do with that.
I really hope Jordan Jenkins has a 10+ sack season.
That
would be really cool because I liked when he was in minicamp. He was like, I'm tired of losing.
Yeah, dude. But that's the mentality they need to have. I mean, Jordan Jenkins talks about how he's sick of fucking losing, sick of this, sick of that, which he has every right to be. And you know what? That's going to motivate people. And you hear people like Marcus May talking about there's not a single ego in the locker room. Like, that's crazy. Like, everyone's just there to play football. That's what you want out of your team.
And it feels like the whole Jets organization is just fed up. Because I don't know if you saw recently, there was a report that Joe Douglas says that it's angry being like having these low expectations. And it makes all the players angry. And like, why? Like, we want to win. Like, forget this. Like, for example, ESPN did a thing where they simmed the whole NFL season. And I looked at it and I was going week by week. One game that stood out to me, it was a Jet game. The Jets lost to the 49ers 59-28. And the Jets ended up going 5-11. And the Chiefs beat the Cowboys in the Super Bowl. So I guess ESPN, anything's possible, you know?
Well, the thing about the Madden is Sam Darnold's what, like Ivan Madden?
Not in my franchise. He's 89.
In your franchise.
We also won the Super Bowl against the Saints the first year. So
you're gonna see a completely different. You really are gonna completely different Sam Darnold. He's coming out and he knew how he played in week 1 against Buffalo. He was sick. He'll tell you, if you go back to interviews, he'll tell you he felt like shit. He knew that he was sick the day before the Bills game. And he knew that he was going to be sick.
He knew he went to the club and kissed a girl that was sketchy.
No.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But he'll tell you he was starting to feel shitty the day of the Buffalo game. And to that day, I know that it's been on a chip. There's a chip on his shoulder that he wants to come out slinging the rock because he didn't have a chance to do that at all last year. Like, he came out, got sick, and that's the narrative of the season. Yeah, he finished strong. The narrative of last year is that he was sick for the first half of the season and the Jets crumbled. That was what happened.
I think a good thing for him coming out against the Bills week 1 would be Adam to be like, Sam, what do you want to run?
Mm-hmm.
Let him be like, oh, let's do this, and that. Let him build that like confidence that he knows how to read defenses and that he controls the field. Kind of like similar to what Aaron does with the over in Green Bay.
That's true. If he's got to take control, and even Adam Gase, I feel like Adam Gase is this kid like comes in and he has more control every single. Adam recognizes that Sam is taking that extra leadership. Even these guys like Frank Gore is saying stuff. Frank Gore's like, "Oh, this kid's a leader." Like that's a big thing to say coming from Frank Gore to say like Sam's being like a good leader right now. Everybody's saying this guy's like taking the next step. Like it's all good. I think you're gonna see a not a different, but a hungry chip on his shoulder Sam Darnold coming for the Bills this summer. And what's gonna a little bit on the insight on the game is the Bills secondary is a little banged up right now. So
really?
That is a potential big deal. Like Levi Wallace, I don't think even has practiced. Josh Norman hasn't really practiced. Like those are two big corners for them. Obviously, they still have Tre'Davious, but
yeah,
I mean that's a big matchup key because I mean one of our weaknesses is wide receiver, and if one of their strengths is corners, but if those corners are not ready to go, that
could be very helpful for us.
That could be super helpful for us. I mean, do you have any key matchups that you're looking at for Buffalo?
For Buffalo, I want to say it's Bell versus that front seven. Like they have some big guys up front blocking the middle of the field. They also have Tremaine Edmonds, who's a 6'4" giant middle linebacker.
Middle linebacker.
Yeah, he was the youngest. When he got drafted by Buffalo, he was only 19.
Yeah,
that's insane.
Yeah,
that's actually nutty. He's my height, and he's kicking people's adults' butts every Sunday.
I know he's a beast, but I think you're gonna see Le'Veon. You're gonna see Le'Veon go for 100 yards. You're going to see a different Le'Veon. You're going to see a Le'Veon behind Becton. Remember, Le'Veon's all about patience. Mm-hmm. The patience base. Oh, people are saying, oh, you got hit behind the back of the line almost every play last year.
Yeah, it was not good.
You minimize that. You create literally half holes you did last year. It's going to be fine because Becton's going to be running through. Alex Lewis is becoming full steam. Like, these guys. It'll be fine. I think you're right with that matchup with Le'Veon Bell and the front five versus their front seven, because that is Sean McDermott likes to throw. He's similar to Greg Williams in like he likes to just be like he fly to the football type football.
Yeah,
and he's gonna do that. He's gonna test Adam Gase, but it's up to Adam Gase to plays out of it.
Yeah, and I think another matchup too that will kind of decide the game is just Pierre. I combined his first and last name, Pierre Desir versus Stephon Diggs. I think that's going to be one that's going to decide because I think that's where Josh Allen's going to go every single time.
I mean, if I was Josh Allen, I would do that every single time. I would go to Stephon Diggs. But remember, Desir was one of the best runners in that draft class. Like remember, like Pierre Desir was like the top corner, speed corner. Like that doesn't bother me. I think as long as his hamstrings are good, I think Desir can handle Diggs. I mean, Diggs was, as much as people love Stephon Diggs, blah blah blah. They traded a first round pick. Like Stephon Diggs was a number 2 in Minnesota next to Adam Thielen. Like
the undrafted guy who
came
out of nowhere.
Exactly, and they had Dalvin Cook. Like. It's not so much like, oh, Stephon Diggs was that 3rd, 4th guy in Minnesota. He's the number 1 guy here. He's going to be getting number 1 coverage. Like, and no offense, but like Kirk Cousins' accuracy is way better than Josh Allen's accuracy. Josh Allen may have that big play, big arm ability, but when it comes to Kirk Cousins,
he's also got some wheels too.
He's got some wheels, which makes him a little different. But at the end of the day, Kirk Cousins' pass is more fine-tuned, way more fine-tuned than Josh Allen's passes. So that's something to definitely look.
Yeah, and I know one of the Bills' best playmakers, John Brown.
Yeah.
he's in their slot, I think, or is he the number 2?
Well, he'll be the number 2 because Cole Beasley will be the slot. But they like to interchange because they both can play the position well. But I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, Brian Poole's there. That's the one matchup I'm not worried about. John Brown, I think, is a better slot receiver than Cole Beasley.
I think it comes apple and oranges because they both like John. He's more of like a guy that like hits the wheel route, hits the sideline. Cole Beasley's more of your crosser. He's gonna hit you on a crosser. So you got John Brown's more of your flyer. Cole Beasley. I need 3 yards. Dump this off to Cole Beasley. He's gonna. So they have that role. Kind of like Cole Beasley's more of like a Jamison Crowder type role.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like that's the way they type of role, and I love Jamison Crowder's role. I think it's going to be expanded. You saw a lot. I mean, having what 9-10 catch games. You're going to see a lot of that again, but you're going to see a lot of it of Jamison Crowder being more in open space. Sam's going to get him the ball and give him space. That's something he had to work on. Remember, you saw a lot of last year of dump it off to Jameson. Oh, run. He got 5 yards, but he got tackled. He got swarmed by 5 guys because you threw it to him right in the middle of the field. No, give it another second. Let him pass the linebackers. Dump it off. Get into space. Let him make someone miss. That's the type of stuff they need, Sam Darnold. Adam needs to incorporate that.
They hit the slants.
Hey, slant merchant. No, they do need to hit the slants, but they need to start the motion. I talked about sometimes the motion. Motion of the offense is a huge part of the offense, and we really don't do it that much. But you're going to see Adam Gase do that a lot more.
Yeah, I think their motto should just be motion of the ocean this year, and let's let it flow, you know?
You got too much motion, the ocean, let it flow. You got so many water analogies going. But it's really, I think it's really coming together.
Yeah, it should be exciting to see. I know Marcus May wanted to have I want him to have a big year. Mm-hmm. He's been going off every practice. He's taking a bigger role this year.
He's becoming that leader, that guy that needed to step up. Jamal left, and no matter what the way you feel about Jamal is, he left a big gap in New York Jets franchise, whether you think it was a bad gap or a good gap. He left a gap, and it's up to Marcus May to fill that, whether it be the leader. You see, Bradley McDougald, that vocal guy, that's Bradley McDougald. That's the Jamal part that you see. He'll take on that vocal role, but when it comes to leading people and leading by example, Marcus May has that role. And you see, I see it 110%. And when Marcus May says there's no egos left, he really means it.
Plus, he's from Florida. I got it.
I know you're Florida guys.
I'm sold. When we got him, I was so happy. I liked him out of Florida. He was just really he just showed a lot of instinct, like going back and forth. He was always watching he knew he had a third eye in the back of his head where he knew where receivers were, and he always has eyes in the QB. And you see a lot of plays. He had a really nice interception against Alabama his last year, and I don't know how he did it. The QB pump faked and he bit a little bit, but he turned and ran and was able to swat the ball down. Mm-hmm.
That's the type of guy Marcus May is he can not necessarily make an adjustment and then make another adjustment. Super good like that. But that's the type of guy like Ashton Davis is and can learn from him. These are the type, our safety core right now is I love it. And after trading your franchise face at safety, why should anybody say, hey, I love my safety core now? You know, why would anybody say that? But I do. I genuinely do. And I think they're going to ball. Bradley McDougald is going to be our wild card. Whether you like him or not, he's going to be our wild card because he's going to be that guy. He's going to step in and he's going to ball out, and you're going to see a little more interceptions because of that guy.
What do you think is going to happen going down the road week 12 against? Is it week 12 against Seahawks?
Yeah, week 12 against the Seahawks.
What do you think? I
don't think anything. Jamal's humbled. That's the thing about Seattle is Jamal's humbled. That's just going to be the narrative from here on out. If you have a guy like Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson, or Bobby Wagner in your locker room, you're going to. But Jamal came in, and Jamal was the guy. He was nothing but the guy. Now he's, sixth on the totem pole, maybe? Maybe. They just see him as another guy there. Oh, obviously, it's Jamal Adams. He's good. He's a safety. But he's not the face of New York anymore. So you're going to see him humbled, which is good for him. It's exactly what Jamal Adams needs is because he's a superstar with a terrible attitude. I shouldn't say a terrible attitude. With a complaining attitude. It's like if it's my way or the highway type thing. And in the NFL, that doesn't apply amongst other superstars. So we'll see. He'll get humbled, but that just gives Marcus May. This gives Marcus May that extra step. Not to say it forced him in the role, but it kind of just came gradually. No one was like, Marcus May needs to be a leader. It was like, oh, it looks like Marcus May is stepping in to be a leader. You know?
Yeah.
So that's something as a fan, you got.
And I know another thing all fans are super excited about is fantasy football starting up again.
Finally, it almost doesn't even feel like it though. You know, like I had a couple drafts this weekend. I know you did. Like it was just like I was picking. I was like, I can't believe football's gonna be live Thursday.
I'm so excited. I'm having one of my friends over to watch the Jets home opener. If you want to come over and watch it, so feel free.
I'll come over. Yeah.
But fantasy football. I'm so happy mainly this year because last year I had to do my drafts in the woods when I was camping.
Oh wow.
And I was using a hotspot to make my picks. It was awful.
And you made all your picks
this year. Yeah. No, my first round pick I didn't make this year. I had the 5th pick. And I was playing a game of Madden, actually, and I forgot, and it was 6:10, and my draft started at 6, and the 5th pick went already, and I got Alvin Kamara. So, still a good pick. I'll take it. I do PPR.
Okay, PPR. I like PPR. I mean, it's more, you get more.
Yeah. Who was your best first-round pick, do you think?
I mean, I'm in like 4 leagues. So, in most of my leagues, I was pretty much either like the 9, 10, or 11th pick. So I was heavy on Davante Adams this year. I like Davante Adams, and I like Kyler Murray this year. If you're looking for a late round pick, I would do Davante Adams. I think you're gonna get that narrative that the Packers did nothing again to help Aaron Rodgers, and so you know what Aaron Rodgers is gonna do? He's gonna go right back to Davante Adams, which he does every year. So there's no issue with that. So Davante Adams, Kyler Murray, and our guy Le'Veon Bell are my staples right now.
I did a different strategy this year. I did 3 halfbacks in a row.
Really? So who'd you go?
I got Kamara in the first round. I got Josh Jacobs in the second round. I wanted Derrick Henry in the first round though, because I didn't realize this. It would have played out better. Kamara and Jacobs had the same bye week 6.
Oh yeah, you can.
So for those of you who haven't done their draft just yet, be careful of that. And then my 3rd round pick, I believe I got. Did I get Eckler in the 3rd round?
How many people are in your league?
There's only 10 of us.
There's 10.
It's a $200 league.
Oh, wow. But 10, yeah. I mean, but that makes a difference. 10 and 12, like. While you're getting Eckler in the 3rd round, like Eckler wouldn't.
No, he wouldn't be.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think I did pretty good at quarterback. I got Brady late.
I actually, in one of my leagues, I had Brady. I mean, there's too much around Brady now.
And like he loves dumping off the halfbacks too, and lets them run with it, and that's all they're gonna do because now they have Leonard Fournette.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about Tampa Bay is watch who you pick because a lot of mouth defeated.
Unless you're Tom Brady and you're feeding everyone.
True, but I mean, I could definitely like that. I stuck with Tom Brady, and I actually have Tom Brady in one of my leagues. But like, I would stay away from Chris Godwin. Like, I don't know, Mike Evans. Like, I wouldn't say stay away from Mike Evans, but don't reach for Mike Evans. Perhaps. But I like the way that fantasy football is. Like my team. What defense? If you had to pick a defense to look out for, what defense?
Like to get points,
like
or
not
the draft.
Not the draft. Like you think like this defense may be a good waiver wire pickup, type like that.
Oh, good waiver wire pickup. I would mainly anyone who plays the Jaguars this year.
Why you don't trust Minshew?
No, it's not. I don't trust Minshew. I just know for a fact after they traded Ngakoue to the Vikings that they're choking for Lawrence.
Yeah, which, I mean, do you blame them? I don't, but that organization is...
But, like, Gardner Minshew didn't look that bad for it. Like, he didn't look that bad.
You know what? He's had to prove. You know, the thing about Gardner Minshew is that dude's gonna go out, have fun, and ball. And
yeah.
His weapons are.
He's gonna look good doing it.
He's gonna look good doing it. His weapons are. I mean, he's got sharp, but like, what is that really? So I mean, his weapons are slim to none.
They got the receiver out of Colorado this year.
Laverska Shalut.
Yeah, didn't he have injury issues coming out?
He has injury issues.
I thought he had like an ankle problem.
Yeah, he does. But I picked him up in one of my leagues. That's a guy, like, if he gets healthy, he can explode because there's no...
I picked up 2 halfbacks on my bench, too. Well, I drafted 2 halfbacks. I got Mostert.
Okay, that's a tough one.
Yeah, but I heard a lot of chit-chat that he might be the number 1, and then Coleman will come in, like, have his role in Atlanta. Thing. And then another one I got was J.K. Dobbins. That was, like, another...
I like that.
See what happens with him.
I don't think... I think you're going to see Mark Ingram's role not diminish, but less. I think you're... Him and Dobbins splitting carries, while Mark Ingram was the focal point. You're going to see it. Dobbins.
I also got like a halfback that I was watching because I don't know how Dalvin Cook's gonna hold up this year.
Oh, Madison.
I got Madison because I had Dalvin Cook last year, and even though he was getting a lot of points running the ball,
that's a really good idea. I mean, I know for me, I try to get Tony Pollard, the injury reserve for the backup running back for the Cowboys.
Yes.
I try to get him. Madison was one of those guys I try to get. And Latavius Murray.
Yeah, I had him last year.
Those are if you're listening, like, those are 3 guys that, like,
they have that one, like, huge, like, Latavius Murray had one last year.
But he can easily, like, Kamara's easily, like, hamstrings out this week. Oh, cool. You could just go to Latavius Murray, and he's gonna blow up. You know, those type of running backs, you have to look into their backups because they're so heavily used. They're such bell cows. Like, there's only a handful of these running backs that are like actual bell cows that actually are on the field every single. Saquon, Zeke, Kamara, like all those type of guys, they're on the field every time. You have to look into the backup because that's something that is very key. Most offenses rely on it, so they don't stem away from their play calling.
Another thing offenses rely on too as their safety net, tight ends. Did you get any good ones? Because the 2 I have, I don't know. I got Higbee and Hurst.
So the thing about Higbee is they've like kind of a competition battle.
Yeah, I know.
So with Everett, so that could go anyway. But what I like about Hurst is he plugs in right away.
Yeah.
You saw Hooper's last year with the Falcons. It was unbelievable.
And Hurst did pretty well as a backup. And
Hurst was basically like he was like he's second. Was he backup? He might have been third string because they had the guy Boyle too. So he was in the mix for second, third tight end.
And he was still pretty solid.
Yeah, he was solid behind Mark Andrews.
Baltimore uses their tight ends a crap ton.
A crap ton. And I think he's the type of guy where Matt Ryan's gonna find him.
I also have Matt Ryan on my bench.
Matt Ryan. I mean, the Falcons. They traded Sanu last year, so they kind of keep Ridley in that 2 slot role. And obviously Julio is number 1, but look for Hayden Hurst to make some noise.
Yeah, and another thing you guys should do too is make sure you go follow us on Twitter.
Oh yeah, you should follow us. It's _, very long. It's our logo.
Tweet at us who your fantasy sleeper or your favorite pick on your fantasy team is, and maybe even throw out your fantasy team name. Yeah, I forget what I made mine. I changed mine this year. Oh, Instant Kamara.
Instant Kamara.
my team name this year is Instant Kamara. Yeah. Last year I had DJ Chark. I picked up in free agency. My team name was Left Chark.
That's fair. I haven't really got correct. You know, the thing about fantasy this year, like, I'm a commissioner of league, and like a lot of it was like, oh, is this gonna happen? But we're here.
Yeah, it's happening.
What? Today's Tuesday.
2 days.
2 days.
48 hours.
That's wild. And we're gonna get to see Mahomes versus Deshaun, and we're gonna get football. It's awesome. I'm super excited.
Betting's gonna start.
Fantasy, me picking. Like, I'm already like, I'm starting to set my lineups for this week. Like, Get to it, man. It's football season.
Yeah, I can't.
Football is back, baby.
And there's also Red Zone too with the highlights too. I can't. I'm salivating.
Little kid on Christmas, and that's what it is. And I mean, I always like to say this, and about the New York Jets is like we're in the right hand. Jets are in the right hands.
Yeah.
And I think Joe Douglas, whether you like Adam Gase, whether you like Sam Darnold, blah blah blah, this that, we're in Adam Gase. I mean, we're in Joe Douglas's hands, and I trust it. So
yeah, honestly, because if knock on wood, they choke. Mm-hmm. Goodbye, Gase.
Goodbye, Gase. Let's start over. Like
just promote Williams.
We'll see.
Last time we had a defensive-minded head coach,
we did well.
And it was actually Todd Bowles' first season. We went 10-6 at Ryan Fitzpatrick. Yeah. We got snubbed from the did we? No, we got snubbed. We did get snubbed from the playoffs. Yeah.
But at the same time, like when we had Rex Ryan and stuff like that, that was like heavily driven. Like even like when we were doing well with Bowles, like our team wasn't that good. The defense wasn't that. Rex Ryan's defense was lights out. Like lights out. This defense with Greg Williams is lights out. So Bowles being our head coach and our defense not being light out doesn't make sense. So I see what you're saying with the defensive-minded head coach, and I could see Greg Williams stepping in it, but I do trust Adam Gase. And I'm not to say I trust Adam Gase. I believe Adam Gase will do the right thing. And if he doesn't, be gone. But for right now, we're in the right now. Joe Douglas is at the helm. Adam Gase is teaching Sam Darnold, and Sam Darnold is stepping up to the plate, is what I've heard. So we can run with that, and that's how to run with, because that's what I believe in, and I know you're right there with me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been believing since I was born a Jet fan, so 24 years and going.
We believe hard.
Yeah.
We fall harder.
And I think on that note, I guess we should just call it a day.
Yeah.
Wrap this up. You guys can go follow us on Twitter. Tyler, you want to say the Twitter handle one more time?
Yeah, so it's _very_long. Follow us on Twitter. Ask us questions. DM us.
Yeah.
Do whatever. You know what? We'll start doing a question segment for the podcast in the future.
Yeah.
And we're going to start doing this every week. And we're here to just talk Jets football. And we love it. This is what we want to talk about. This is what we talk about regardless. So throw in some questions. DM us. Do whatever you want. We're here. And we're going to be ready for some New York Jets football. Woo-woo!
Let us also know your biggest fantasy sleepers, because I might need to pick up some people in free agency.
You're giving Rich some suggestions.
Yeah.
You guys can help us out.
Please help me out. All right.
Thanks, guys.